qualifying version of this festival. I am your host, one of them today, Indiana Underhill, founder of Cinematography for Actors and cinematographer. We have Florian Anderson as one of our partners at CFA joining, who is a writer, director, and actor. And then sitting with us as well is from the Invaders and Work-Life Balance,
yes,
Christy St. John, which is a really cool last name.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It is my natural last name.
Very
I've been
cool.
asked many times if I've changed my name, and I have not.
Yeah, it's awesome. Welcome. I'm so happy you could join us, and congrats on having 2 films at the fest.
Thanks so much, Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have both.
And I love as well, so Haley, who cannot be here today but has been doing interviews there at the festival, has also been in one of your classes at the Robert DeVonzo Studio, The Business of Acting.
Yes, it's a very business-minded class for actors who tend to be more artsy-fartsy.
Very cool. And she told me it's about like getting your promo materials ready for submissions and things like that.
In many ways, it's about how casting, how producers, how directors kind of cast, like how they see your materials, and really targeting your materials to them and how that works. As opposed to as opposed to getting the picture where you look best, getting the picture that works the best for casting.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love stuff like that. I love all the information. This podcast is all about information. We have 10 to 15 minutes to get into it all. But to start us off, can you talk to us about what The Invaders is about?
The Invaders is a horror on the Oregon Trail.
Cool.
So when you think of the Oregon Trail, you already know that so many people died in terrible ways, mostly from dysentery if you played the game in elementary school when you were a kid.
Yeah.
But this is basically the land fighting back. Okay. So the concept is we, white people, were the original invaders.
Right. And you are the lead actor of this film, correct? And so how did you get brought onto the film?
I got cast in it. So it was just a regular audition, came through my agents. Yeah. Okay,
great. And what was exciting about this role for you?
I am a very wardrobe first actor. I think maybe that even comes from like the branding class that I teach. I talk a lot about headshots. I talk a lot about like that picture and how it's presented. My favorite thing about getting this audition was because it's a period piece and it was on the Oregon Trail. I go all out and I like put dirt all over my face. So like to be able to like get in the grittiness of that world. I also think that actors, we can be the most amazing puzzle piece in the world, but if we don't fit into the puzzle, then we're not going to get cast in that project.
Right.
So I love a transformative audition.
Yeah.
And this felt very different than anything else I'd received before. Yeah. I mean, automatically, like the Oregon Trail, I'm like,
you're in it.
I'm in it. Yeah.
Florian is, like we said, writer, director, actor. And I feel like you also speak to period pieces a lot.
Yes.
Right? There must be something.
But not as, I love period pieces, but it's as I get cast. Like people see something in me, maybe the fair skin or the long hair, but there is something that screams period drama. And you either embrace it or you go against it. But I'm like, the business side is like, you need to be smart. Mm-hmm. Don't cut your hair with like a crazy, very modern haircut if you know that your typecast is going to be periods. So this is very insightful and very smart.
Yeah. And so a lot of the Invaders, was it shot exterior then? Was it shot actually on?
It was partly exterior, which is so great about certainly a period piece on the Oregon Trail. Like obviously like the landscapes we can get, but we got this amazing covered wagon that was from this like incredible props house, and then we made I say we made, like I made it.
It's a film collective. It's a community.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
It. Yeah.
It takes a village.
You're a part of the family. Yeah.
But it was a tent with all like movable walls that was shot. It was interior, but it was like exterior for interior.
Wow. And so what was from reading the like initial script to when you're seeing it on the big screen now, what surprises you?
Well, it's very weird because you said like I get cast in period pieces, and maybe that's something you were going for, maybe not. I get cast in horror all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I hate horror. I can't stand watching it. I'm the most scared. My boyfriend thinks October is hilarious because he's like, let's go to all the scary houses. And I'm like, no, like we'll break up. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So but in a weird way, like I think that makes me perfect for horror because I can get scared so easily that literally you put me in like a spooky set and I'm like, I don't like it. Like I don't like it. I don't like it. And that reads on camera. So certainly like on set when you have people around you, you know that it's a more happy, collaborative, lucky environment. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, I hate this. And the director was like, good, we're on the right track. Like,
you're the perfect audience for it. Then as well.
I'm the perfect audience for it. Yeah.
And so for the prep for the role, what kind of discussions were you having with the director around how your performance was going to be captured? Was it in the wagon? Was it like handheld moving? Were you like kind of locked off? What were you prepared for in terms of like day-to-day interactions on physical production?
Sure. For me, the most important thing as an actor to know from a cinematographer's side is frame size.
Right.
And this is still something that like, and honestly, like my big question for you is how do I translate the number, so it's like I've got a 20 lens.
Yes.
What does that mean in terms of frame size? Because I still am like, and especially like with horror, it tends to live in like super wides or very close.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your two options.
You're right.
So
Yeah.
like one of the shots of the film, it was a close up, and I was like, how close are they? And then they were like, oh, we're very close.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's like here. I saw the shot, it was like here.
Right.
And it's like, oh, like I would have.
Because once you get into close territory, as a DP, it's like once you get into close territory, it could mean anything.
It can mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, wide is probably like full body and more, but at least you're prepared because you're like full body or more. But like if it's close, it's like
How
even
close?
extreme close up can mean something different.
It can mean something different.
Yeah.
It can
And
mean just your lips. It
yes,
can mean,
absolutely.
And did you
so,
feel confident
yeah.
asking the DP, like, oh, what lenses are you on? Like, what?
It's literally like, I don't know why, but I feel like I keep asking different DPs and I keep getting different answers
Sure.
of like, but it's generally like smaller means you're further away, right? And then like, so it's like a 500 lens is more close, or?
Yeah, I mean, so it's dependent on, and this is something we teach at Cinematography for Actors, is the technical side for
Sure.
actors. So
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
interact with lenses and eye line and eye light and movement and operating. So what my rule of thumb is that I try and teach actors is a formula that actually camera assistants use, and that is in order to fill the frame with the slate at the beginning of the shot, or if for tails at the end, if you know what lens you're on, so if you're on a 50 and you're 5 feet away, you know you're filling the frame with that slate. So you stand 5 feet away from the lens, you're filling the slate. I use that as like, for actors, I'm like, if you can start to memorize that that's probably your close-up, and then you're like double that distance, you can start to understand kind of where you're at.
So if the camera's 5 feet away from you, you're probably at a close up. If the camera's 10 feet away from you, you're probably at a medium?
Yeah, if you're on a
Okay.
50.
If you're on a 50.
Yes. And then if you're at a 25 and you're 2.5 feet away, you're in a close-up. If you're 5 feet away, you're getting wider. If you're 10 feet away, you're probably in a full shot. But the biggest thing that, and we did a panel yesterday, is to ask like frame size, and then hopefully they're giving you this.
I do this a lot on set,
That
being
is-
like,
yeah.
where am I at?
yeah.
And a lot of times they're just like, they're either like this or like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but I love that you're asking those questions, because we're big like believers that, the visual language for films is organized so early in prep.
Yes.
And you're brought on, throughout stages, but you're not always involved in those conversations,
Correct.
but you're expected to execute that visual language. And so not only do you want the education around it, but you also want to like save yourself on set by being like, how much effort do I have to put into this take if I know they're probably going to cut to a close-up for that tear or that scream or whatever it is? So I love that you're asking those questions. For the Invaders, because it's like a horror on the Oregon Trail,
Yes.
did you have to do a lot of screaming? Did you have to do like a lot of like stunts? What was like the
I'm a
kind of
pretty white
craziness?
girl. I always have to do a lot of screaming.
Right.
It is the
comes name of
with
the game.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you, like, and this is more like a DP fangirling, but how do you preserve your voice if you're doing take after take with things like that?
It's hard. I don't know if you do this, but like I feel like I don't, and it will sometimes like it will mess me up. But I will certainly ask like,
Yeah.
how many times are we doing this?
Right.
To try and that, but because at that level of scared, it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I had to really learn as an actor is how to in and out.
Yeah.
Because it's in order to like stay in it for even like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
it's too much.
And for the Invaders, what are you hoping the audience's biggest takeaways are for the film?
Gosh, being scared shitless.
That's a lot of fun. Wow. And then for work-life balance,
Yes.
Were you the lead in that one, or what is
I
your
was the
role
lead.
there?
I wrote and produced it, and I was the lead, and it's on BitPix.
Oh,
so
fantastic!
yeah.
Great. I'm so excited that you have both in there.
And it's a workplace comedy, so it's like it's
You
literally the exact
Yeah.
it's like genre horror and workplace comedy.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Well, let's talk a little bit about work-life balance, because I know at the end we always promote to go onto BitPix if you've like missed screenings and things like that.
Yes.
So I'm glad you mentioned it. So you wrote and starred in it.
Correct.
And directed? You didn't
Produced. I didn't direct.
Produced. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like for passing off your work to a director to take and then starring in it? So you're kind of, on both sides of it, but there's like this trust that you have to give away. What was that
gosh.
like? Yeah.
It's hugely scary to give away that trust. And for me, it just really helps to have inspiration, to, say that these are the workplace comedies that inspired it. Here are the shots that I'm thinking of. Again, as an actor, I'm like, here's the frame size I'm thinking of. I will like print out pictures of like, I think this is the shot, and then allow the director to play within that. But she was also amazing, and it just helped. It felt like she understood my vision.
And how did you find your director?
She's from my acting class, so she's an actor as well, and we've been acting
nice.
together for years. So it is one of those. It's exactly what they say. It's like they speak the same language,
Yeah, and work-life balance. So that's already screened at the festival, right?
It's coming up on BitPix.
Oh, it's coming up on BitPix. Are both of these like premieres, or have you had audiences already watch the films?
Work-Life Balance premiered at Dances with Films.
Great.
And then is coming up on HollyShorts Big Picks. And The Invaders, you should come to the midnight showing this Friday.
Oh, fun. On a Friday night, too.
Yes, on a Friday night / Saturday morning. Great. So please, if you're feeling spooky, come out on Friday.
Awesome. Well, come out to see Christy St. John in The Invaders, a horror on the Oregon Trail, this Friday at midnight. Midnight
Spooky. Madness.
Spooky.
Spooky.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone. This has been another episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast. Follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast to keep up to date on new episode releases. We will be live through August 20th here at HollyShorts Film Fest. If you're here, drop in and say a little hello at the VIP lounge. We also want to thank our sponsors, Apogee, Film Tools, Roscoe, Lightstone Rentals, Canon, and First Mile Tech. As a special gift to you listeners, we've partnered with We Make Movies to get you a discount on comprehensive production insurance packages. Use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote by visiting wemakemovies.org/insurance.
If you missed any of our live streams, you can watch all of our interviews on our YouTube channel, Cinematography for Actors. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Cinematography for Actors. You can also catch us in a more formal setting on Monday, August 14th at Japan House for a panel discussion on the importance of bridging the gap between talent and crew. You can get 20% off of your ticket purchase by using the code HSFF2023CFA at checkout.
Thanks.